Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sunset Stitches. My name is Trevor Conquergood, and this video is for Free Font Friday for September 20th, 2024. And the font for this week is called GeoShapes. And it's kind of a quirky one because all the letters have kind of interesting shapes that they're made from. And in the plain old satin stitch, it's kind of got a sweet spot, just use it around a half an inch tall or even smaller than a half an inch. Actually, probably it needs to be more like 8 or 10 millimeters. Otherwise, the satin stitches start to become too long. But bigger sizes are totally possible. You just have to either add a middle split or maybe even just change it over to a pattern fill, and easily done. So that is the free font of the week. If you want, you can stop by Sunset Stitches anytime this week and download it. Or if you're a member, then you can get it anytime that you want. It is now available from the member archive page. And so what I'm going to do is I'm obviously not live with you guys this week. Sometimes I go live, but this week I'm actually going to be on Friday. I'll be at Sewing Machines Plus in San Marcos, California. And so you go ahead and say hi in the comments, and I will check that after class on Friday night and say hi to you guys back. But that is the case. I'm not live with you guys today. But that said, I have a couple tips about this week's font. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring my workspace larger. And then I'm just going to bring up the, first of all, this is the font. It's called GeoShapes. And really the sweet spots between, it's like half an inch up to, you certainly can't use it in an inch. I don't know, but I'll show you what I mean in a minute. But the stitches become kind of too long unless you split them. Just the nature of the font. And so you can see kind of here where when used smaller, the longer stitches weren't a problem. But as you got to be very much larger, they needed to be split. And to be honest, I think it would look really good at larger sizes if we used a pattern fill. And so that's what I'm going to show you guys is like if you start up a new text segment and you use the words geotext, it's going to come in at 10 millimeters tall. And if you're in inches, that's going to be like 0.39 of an inch tall. And that's kind of the sweet spot for it. I think it works well in satin stitch at that size. But what happens is as you start to make it larger, the stitches here start to become long. And see how I have an error here? And if I look, there's actually stitches missing. Now that's an optical illusion because if I turn off 3D, there are actually stitches there, but they're so far apart that my machine thinks they're going to be trimmed. And that is where the issue becomes. And this is where I was saying that you're going to look to your properties box. And here there's two places you could look. One would be the splits tab. So it's over here with the black kind of little dots on the lines. But in here, I could put on, for example, a middle split, and that would split all of the longer columns in half. So as soon as they become, and you get to decide at what length, where do they split? So notice how the like top of this Y is only splitting it. So, well, that's where it hit, whenever it gets to the distance of 7, it starts splitting. And so you can see how long this is, because it's quite, it's probably twice as long as 7. All that said, another way of doing it instead of middle split is to go to the purple star and change it from a satin to a pattern fill. And there's all different numbers of pattern fills that you can pick and choose, and each one will kind of have a texture to it. But what they'll do is they'll sew those areas down nice and flat like that. And so now you could go, once you put it in a pattern like this, you could probably put it at any size that you wanted to. And, it would go much larger than, 1 inch or 2 inches or 3 inches or whatever size you want, because it's all going to be pattern filled in there. So yeah, I think that's where GeoShapes is actually going to look its best, is when you use it at like 1 inch tall in a pattern fill like that. Then it's got a really unique look to it. So either that or really small where the satin stitches look kind of good. But in between, you just, it's not that it's wrong, but you have to adjust the settings, I guess. So yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to take a long time because I'm not live and I can't kind of interact with everybody. But just know that GeoShapes is the font of the week, and you guys can download that now from the Sunset Stitches website. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put a link in the description. But basically, every week we do a new free font at Sunset Stitches. And so you might have noticed I got my hair cut this week. And so I'm all ready to go out on the road. And I'm excited because I'm going to be visiting Sewing Machines Plus, but then I'm home quickly and then back out on the road again to visit Ruthie's, Notions, and then back out on the road again to visit Fond or Sewing. And there's a bunch of dates and times. If you want to know where you can catch me, and I'm adding to this sort of like weekly now, I've been getting new things added to it. But I'm just going to bring up the sun here. Don't look at this because that'll make your head hurt. Sunset Stitches. So here's our website.com. And I'll just click enter. And on the top, there's a menu, and it's here where it says embroidery fonts. That's where you'll go to find, the new font of the week. But here where it says date and times, kind of in the top menu, the very last option, dates and times. That's where you can find a list of, first of all of my upcoming classes that you could attend if you're a member, and also all of the events and places that I'm going to be going to. And so there's a nice list here through kind of till January. And so, yeah, check back and I'll be adding more to that. But thanks for letting me show you guys that stuff too. So it's the sunsetstitches.com website. I don't know if that was big enough to actually see it beside me there. I thought I'd made it bigger, but if you have any questions, just leave the questions in the comments box. I'm always happy to hear from you guys. But if you're just tuning in now, this is Trevor from Sunset Stitches, and the new font of the week is called GeoShapes, and you can download it now. If you're a member, you can download all of the past fonts from the font archive. I always like to say if anybody's collected any of my workshops on a DVD and you haven't heard from me for a while, I have a brand new website. Well, it's not brand new anymore, but it's new to you. And if you don't already have a login on my website, you can join for my FTCU Power Start classes absolutely free. And then send me an email and say, Trevor, I also have workshop 1 and I can turn it on. Or I've also got 1, 2, and 3 and I can turn them all on. And so you may have previously registered them, but my website is new. And so none of the registrations kind of count here. And so if you don't already have an account on my website, the easiest way is just to sign up for a free Power Start account. And then from there, you can communicate with me about what you should or shouldn't have and how to get it. And if you have any questions, you can always email me, trevor@sunsetstitches.com, or just leave a question in my Facebook. And I try to catch them there too. But to be honest, it's more direct. If you email, I'll always catch that. All right. So all that said, free font of the week. Hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for listening today. Bye for now.